Hello and welcome to episode 18 of the Universally Epic Podcast, your go-to Universal Orlando trip planning podcast. I'm Jim Klein, along with Taylor Franklin, for your hosts and travel agents for all things Universal. On today's show, what do you call a dueling coaster with only one coaster train? Stardust Racers, of course, as it hits a snag in testing. We also have all the details for all the recently announced Universal Orlando expansions, which were only shared with us here at Universally Epic Podcast, mainly because we're making it all up and we blue sky some expansion ideas for each of the four parks. So let's get started. I blew up our spot right off the bat. But I think we're going to have some fun because last week Universal announced that they have expansions planned for all four of their parks. So that'll be fun to talk about. But first I want to get into Stardust Racers. So this happened yesterday. We're recording on Sunday, so that would be Saturday. In the early morning during testing, like the first test run, Stardust Racers went over one of the top hats and then did not make it over the second and kind of went back down into the valley, and they called it valleying. Yeah, so I saw on TikTok that the wind had a major factor in it. They also installed these magnetic braking system on the tracks on the top of going down the top of the top hat there to slow it down, because the negative G's that you hit at the top of the top hat and the bottom of the positive G's were not in line. I'm not a physicist, so I'm not really sure. but supposedly that has to have some sort of ratio. So that's why they put that braking mechanism in there. So, and then also they were contributing to the cold weather. So Florida's been a little cold this time, and supposedly magnets work better in the cold. So it might have slowed it down a little too much. So this is what I saw on TikTok. Some guy was doing a whole breakdown of it, and I'm like, this is way beyond my comprehension. But they did say that Rip Ride Rocket has kind of the same issue at times, and they have restrictions on the wind and temperatures also for Rip Ride Rocket. So it was actually interesting to hear. So yeah, I don't think anybody should be concerned about it. Obviously, that's just going to be one of those things that if it happens, it happens. But it looks like it's a major pain in the butt when it does happen, because
because the car's just stuck there.
Yeah, there's no way to pull it back up. So they had a crane there pulling this thing back up the tracks. I couldn't believe it. So BioReconstruct has amazing footage of all the right?
Yeah.
And this guy is out there first thing in the morning taking pictures of a crane pulling a car up the tracks. It's so crazy. Yeah, like I said, I think on social media it'll blow up obviously over the next couple days, because it's thing. But this is why they run the testing anyway, right? So they figure out these little things that might need adjustments or whatever they can do. I don't know how the adjustments are working, but
well, and everything's still in technical preview, so it's all still, I mean, you're gonna get what you kind of get when you're going to technical preview. So a lot of the cast members and stuff, yeah, it's amazing to walk through Epic Universe, but you're gonna get what they have far. Yep, and I've seen a couple of people be really upset that the Ministry of Magic ride is still not functioning. But it also kind of wasn't promised. From everything that I was seeing, it was not promised that it was going to be up and running. It is a state-of-the-art ride.
Yeah,
it was not promised that it was going to be up and running.
Yeah, and Universal actually, I don't know if you saw this too, that they're allowing the cast members to go back up to 8 times to the park.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Good for them, man. At least they're treating them right, and obviously, each time they go, things will get a little bit better. They get feedback. I'm sure that each a cast member or team member has to fill out some sort of survey when they leave, or it's got to be part of the whole package. And they're doing a great job with not allowing photos or anything like that.
I haven't seen anything except for just quick pictures of Celestial Park.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and that's it. I haven't seen anything.
Universal is really cracking down on that, which I think is good, right? Because you don't want too much coming out right now, especially before it opens, because you're going to get those people, when they do annual pass previews, it's going to be plastered everywhere. You know what I mean? But right now, you see what happens. like the only way we knew that it valleyed out is because bioreconstruct is up in a helicopter taking pictures, right?
Hmm.
That's the only reason why.
Yeah,
So
and none of those things are like super up close. They're all definitely taken from a helicopter. But like if you had, people on the ground that were taking pictures and videos and things like that, like obviously we would be able to see exactly what went down. And like maybe this whole valley thing isn't actually what happened, though I'm sure it is. Maybe that's not what actually happened, and that like the coaster's like missing a wheel or something, and you're like,
yeah, yeah,
oh,
yeah. Gotcha.
oh, the wheels can fall off. Awesome.
That's,
And then
yeah,
you don't want to do things like ruin what you've already shown for things like Monsters Unchained or for any of the Super Nintendo Land, because Super Nintendo Land already exists in Hollywood, but like ours is supposed to be better.
yeah. Well, Donkey Kong Country is gonna be great. I
Donkey
can't.
Kong Country is going to be amazing.
It's great. And Monsters Unchained, the so you do hear what is it, like reviews of the rides from the
Yeah.
cast, right? They are allowing that to go out, and they're saying Monsters Unchained is unbelievable. Like
Hmm.
it seems like that is going to be a massive, massive attraction for Epic
Yeah.
Universe. Yeah, so I'm really excited about it. Like, there's so much to do. I actually just saw a TikTok, somebody that I follow. I think it's Universally Speaking, right? They had a meme, and it was like a guy just confused, and it just says like basically, I don't know which way to go when I first get into Epic Universe, and it was so true because every single land is going to be amazing. So
Mm.
it's just going to be hard to, and which is great because I think the crowds are going to be so dispersed. Like it's not like, oh, you
Yeah.
have to drop here, or oh, you have to run over here. I think Monsters Unchained now, after all these like reviews are coming out, is going to be one of those things that like you're gonna have to run to. Like I feel like it's gonna be one of those massively
It's
long
always
waits.
those back corner rides.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
never a ride that's at the front of the park.
yeah.
It's
No,
never a ride that's at the front of the park.
well, if you stay at the Helios Grand, it's right there, I guess.
All right, it's at the front of the park there.
Yeah, there you go. So, all right. So yeah, that was just a little snag at Stardust Racers. I think everything's gonna be fine. Nothing to
They
really
are
worry about.
also only running one car or run one track. They're not running both. So
Okay.
we don't
Yeah.
know how the dueling thing is going yet.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
haven't seen it happen yet.
So, yeah. So next we're gonna get into our Blue Sky. So Universal just announced last week that they have plans to like expand massively over the next couple of years. Not just in Orlando, but around the world. Right? They want. Well, we
Yeah.
know like they're coming to Texas. There's a kids park coming to Texas, which we
Mhm.
probably should do a show on at some
Yeah.
point, or just like a little
We
mention.
probably should
But
talk
I don't
about
really
that.
know too much. Like I'm not very well versed in that right now to actually have a confident
Yeah.
discussion about it. But we should do some research on that and see.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, so what they did say was that to all four of their parks in Orlando, that they're either going to have new attractions, expansions, and they're even already planning expansions for Epic Universe, which is crazy, which is great. It's so nice to know that they have like a plan and they're going to execute. So what my idea was for this week was we each pick a park, right? I take two, you take two, and whatever you want to do. No money involved. You could do the craziest thing, like blue sky it, right? So it doesn't
Money
matter.
is not an object.
It's not an object.
Neither is licensing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, whatever you want to do. So I'll go first with Volcano Bay. All right.
Okay.
So I'll say I have Volcano Bay and Universal Studios, and you have
Hmm.
Islands of Adventure and Epic Universe.
Yep.
And I'm actually very glad that I got Universal Studios because you know what we're talking about, right? Like we,
I listen. I offered. I
I,
gave you two options.
I know, and I really want because anything to get rid of supercharged.
I should have known. I should have known that's where the segue was going.
All right. So let me start with Volcano Bay. Okay. So my idea for Volcano Bay, not sure where they'd put this.
Okay.
Okay. But it'll be the first ever whitewater Rapids simulator ride. Okay, so here's
Okay.
where. Okay, so here's the you'll have a full on queue as you're like the queue will be like walking into like a jungle basically, right? So you have like a lot of vegetation, a lot of shade, which is nice. Um, and then when you get in, you board a boat. Now the boat then like you're like actually powering the boat. Okay, so you have like okay
Okay.
oars, and you go into this show building. Now it's the jet. There's jets, so they're pushing you along, right? So and
The
as you get
illusion of control.
yeah, so yeah, illusion of control, exactly. So then what happens is you go into the show building and
Mhm.
think of it as like when you like go into the escape pods at like Rise of the Resistance
Yeah,
or Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, where you go into that one section and you look like you're falling down the waterfall, where you're going
it's
to
my
go
favorite
into
part.
you're still in water, okay, but then there's a
Okay.
huge screen in front of you, okay,
Okay.
and then all of a sudden the water, based on like whatever mechanics needs to be done, I don't know,
Mhm.
like I said, I'm not a mechanic, but you're gonna experience different levels of rapids as you go down this ride, and it's
Okay.
based on like the force of the water pushing forward and you're rowing ahead, right? So it's almost like one of those like swimming pools that you just swim in place, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So
Sure.
but you're looking at this screen. So the where I got this idea was when I was a kid, I went to Disney Quest. Okay,
Okay.
I don't know. I have. Did you ever go to Disney Quest? No. Okay.
No, but I know about it. I
Okay.
do
So
know about it.
Disney Quest had this rapids ride, but it
Uh-huh.
was dry. It was dry. Like you basically got into a boat. It was like, think of it as like one of those like when you ride a bull at a bar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's one
Sure.
of those, but it's a raft. Okay,
Okay.
and you got into this, and there was sensors on the ground. So like when you hit your paddle, your oar down on the ground, you would go either left or right or whatever like that. So this would have like motion sensors, so it would feel where your like paddle was going through the water, and it would like adjust your boat on the screen. So you're controlling your direction, and then
Hmm.
when you're all said and done, you get splashed with water, right? You basically fall down a waterfall, screens go down, or screens come up. That would even be better now that I'm thinking about it, and you just go forward into the exit of the queue, exit of the ride.
Okay.
And that's my Volcano Bay. So it's an actual attraction at the water park, not a
Is
slide,
it
not
gonna be? Is it gonna be like themed? Is there a theme that you have in mind for
going
this,
down
or?
rapids, like whatever. You can make up I can't pronounce all the rides at Volcano Bay, right? I don't
Yeah.
know what they're called. Oh, did you go on Crackaloo? No, I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea. Yeah, is that the one? Is that the slide with the roller coaster water slide? Yeah, no. Then I went on that. You know what I mean? Like
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
it drives me nuts. Like when we have to do the training for for
Oh my
Universal, and they're like, so like Wakahihi is this, and I'm like, I don't know what that is. Like I will never
god.
remember
Yeah.
that. Reason in my brain, I cannot for the life of me remember all these like, what is it? I don't even think it's Hawaiian. It's just a made up language, and you're just like trying to figure this out, and you're like, can you just tell? I want to go down the double slide. Like, where's the family coaster? Oh, Waterloo. Yeah, no, I know. Just tell me where it goes.
Just point me in a direction, please.
I can't remember all these names. Like, I can't. But yeah, they come up with some crazy raft ride that means like whatever rapids in some weird language. Like that's what it
Sure.
would be called.
Okay. Okay.
You know what I mean? But so it'd be like more of like yeah, it's not shouldn't it wouldn't be based on any particular river. You could, I guess. You know what I mean? Like if you know. Um, but you're in like I was figuring more of like a jungle setting. That's all.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that's my idea. And it
Huh.
would be the first ever attraction at a water park.
I think
I
that
don't
would
know.
be fun.
It would be fun. I think so. So all right. So let's move on to yours. Islands of
Okay.
Adventure.
Do we want to start with islands? All right.
Two islands, because Epic.
Start
Let's
with
save Epic
islands.
for last. I think.
Okay. So everybody already knows that I probably would have picked Zelda, and then I would have just talked about Zelda for the next 30 years. I'm not picking Zelda. I'm not picking Zelda because I think that there are a couple other things that we could do here. I think that Jurassic Park needs an overhaul.
Okay.
So we're going with an expansion to Jurassic Park. All right. So here's my idea. We have the river adventure. That's true. And it's great. Love the river adventure. I don't personally because I don't like water rides, but I the river adventure is great. I think that it would be super fun if, and I understand that this would be more Jurassic World than it is Jurassic Park, but I like the gyro balls that they have in the Jurassic World movie. And then you get attacked by a dinosaur. But hear me out. Hear me out. I think that it would be super fun. I know that originally, before Jurassic, though Jurassic Park River Adventure was supposed to be a thing, they were going to do it in Jeeps. And you were going to just take a tour around Jurassic Park in Jeeps.
Okay.
Now that's cool. That's cool. But think about if you were in a gyro ball. That's more exposed. And I think that it would be super fun if they just expanded the land out just a little bit more. We put in the same amount of effort that we put into the animatronics for Monsters Unchained, and we get some like brontosaurs, brachiosaurs, triceratops, because triceratops are suspiciously missing from all of Jurassic Park, the whole land. We need some of those. Pterodactyls. Put us in a show building. I don't care if it's a screen. I just want to see pterodactyls. Um But I think that it would be a super fun and like pretty kid friendly ride. It doesn't have to be intense. It doesn't have to be like super long or anything like that. But at the end, if you want, you can make us get attacked by a dinosaur. That's okay. And
Okay.
like, maybe is that a little bit like Dinosaur from Disney? Yes. I want to be in a gyro ball going
Okay.
through looking at all of the dinosaurs because I think that's super cool. And that was something that I really, really loved from the Jurassic World movies. Everything else about the Jurassic World movies is like, nah, whatever. But the gyro balls, that's really cool. I think it's really fun. And maybe if you could, like, I don't know, let me control the gyro
That would
ball
be kind of cool. Yeah, that would
where
be
I'm like
fun.
kind of driving it, and I get to look at all of these dinosaurs and make it. It doesn't have to be a big one, but it could also be like a 6-person ride car
Okay.
or a 4-person ride car.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, you can make it some kind of like omnimover system. Just so like I mean it's all on the same track, so you're going the same place. But then you could do fun things like I don't know, during Halloween you can like make the dinosaurs more aggressive, or you can like make the tour guides be like, hey, so we have a problem, and the problem is we don't know where the velociraptors are, and like make roaring noises every once in a while inside the gyro ball. Or like for Christmas we're watching like a family of dinosaurs sit around a tree. I don't care. I want to see a brontosaur.
That's so funny. Yeah,
That's
that
my
sounds
idea.
awesome. That does sound really cool. Now, so that would just be an expansion to the existing park in your
Hmm.
world?
Hmm.
Okay, so not taking over anything, just kind of
Nope.
throwing it in there. Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, like if you do look at the park map, it seems like they do have some space there too. Like if you're going like in between Jurassic Park and the Wizarding World, that type of area, it would work, and it would be kind of cool. Yeah, I like it. Almost like a safari type thing. Like
Yes, just like a
it'd
safari, but in a gyro ball.
be great, like a
The
dinosaur
gyro ball
safari.
is so important to this.
Yeah, it sounds
It
great.
has to be
I
in the
love
gyro
it.
ball.
I
Though
love
I
that.
will accept going in the Jurassic Park Jeeps if we want to keep it Jurassic Park. But I know that they're pivoting pretty hard to Jurassic World, so like if they want to pivot that hard, gyro balls.
we have discussed this in the past that they have been pivoting to Jurassic World more so than Jurassic Park. So
Yeah,
it would make more sense for those ride vehicles than the Jeep. So and then if they do the
unfortunately.
Jeep, it's kind of like a knockoff of Animal Kingdom over in Disney, right? Like
Yeah.
so
Mm, yeah.
so,
We
but
we
the
recently watched the first Jurassic Park movie like 2 days ago, because Noah loves Jurassic Park. And I was sitting there and I was like, that would be such a cool ride if I could just go. and look at
Yeah,
all the dinosaurs, and they're in their enclosures, and it wouldn't even have to be that intense. It doesn't have to be that extreme.
it would be, but you know what? It'd be nice because you could do a whole theme to the ride, and it's not just going out and like, oh, there's a dinosaur. Oh, there's another dinosaur. It could be, oh my goodness, this guy, and then you could have a whole story along with it where it builds up to a climax, and like the whole thing would
Mhm.
work. It would work. I like it. I love it. I love it. All right. So we're going to take a break now before we get into the studios and Epic Universe. So stay right there and we'll be right back. The Universally Epic podcast is brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel, a Universal you preferred travel agency. If you're looking to plan your next Universal Orlando vacation, let's do it together. As certified Universal specialists, we can help guide you through the planning process with helpful tips and tricks along the way. The best part, all our travel planning services are free to you.
When you book your Universal Orlando vacation with us, you qualify for an exclusive booking bonus offer from the Magic for Less Travel, a $25 Universal gift card for all vacation packages over $2,500. Ready to start planning? Email the podcast at universallyepicpodcast@gmail.com and start planning your next epic Universal vacation today.
All right, welcome back, everybody. I'm going to get into talking about my blue sky idea for Universal Studios. So originally, when I was thinking about this, I was thinking of the Fear Factor Live area over there to like just change it up, right, and put something else in there. So a quick little blue sky idea that I have. This is not my idea, but I needed to get it out there because I thought it was a
Uh-huh.
great idea. Turn it into an indoor theater, okay, where you did behind the scenes of movie making, right? It doesn't have to be 3D. It doesn't have to be anything. It's just basically like behind the scenes. This is how this works. This is
Hmm.
how we shoot this. And it would like harken back to like those, like the original theme of the park, where it's just like,
Yeah.
where we used to like go into Earthquake, where they showed you how they did that on screen, right? And it would be like a little like 15-20 minute movie to get you out of the heat, and you could watch this show of like all the cool effects and like basically the progression over time, right? Like, so this is how it used to be done, but nowadays we have this technology and we could do this and use like real movies that they've created and show us how it's all made. And I think that would be kind of cool. So that was my little quick blue sky idea. I like, I would,
I think that's really cool. Because like then it also kind of like ties back to the tour in Hollywood,
yeah,
because that's like what they do during the studio tour anyway. So you would just like make that a video that
yeah,
you just show on screen, and
yep,
it gives people somewhere to sit.
yeah,
I don't think it's a bad idea.
yeah, and it's because it's not a huge space over there. I was looking at the map. It's not a ton of space there to like actually put like a whole ride in.
Hmm.
So like, I don't know. I thought it'd be cool, and it'd be something different, and add another attraction that like everybody can get on. Right? It's not a
Yeah.
thrill ride. It's something like, and that leads me into my next my actual blue sky idea. So I was really racking my brain for this one, and I'm like, we know Harry Potter is massive, obviously. So my idea is an expansion to Diagon Alley, okay,
Okay.
and which I think has already been stated in the past, like that they're looking into doing that.
Hmm.
But my idea is to get rid of once and for all supercharged. That is that was my goal here. Get rid of it. Now, if you look at an aerial, I looked at an aerial view of supercharged. The
Hmm.
show building is absolutely massive.
It's
It is
huge.
huge. It takes up so much space. So here's my thing: is I want to ride a classic dark ride, okay, based on Harry Potter, mainly
Hmm.
like the first like movie or two, basically an introductory ride to Harry Potter. Because let's be
Okay.
honest, there's some Potterheads out there that are like, I know everything about Harry Potter. Then you
Hmm.
have guys like me that have seen one or two movies, and like, whatever. I like to drink the butter beer. I like to eat the food. Yeah, I mean, like
Mhm.
I think the land is amazing. I think it looks
Mhm.
amazing. I think the theming is incredible. I think it's one of the best themed lands ever, right? But for me, as like a non Harry Potter like fiend,
Mhm.
it's it would be nice to have those people that don't really know Harry Potter get familiar with it a little bit, and you would still go in. I think the entrance should still be outside of Diagon Alley.
Okay.
And so this is like your introduction. So you're still going in where you would normally go into Supercharge, right? And
Mhm.
it's basically like Harry Potter the beginnings or whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
And it could be like a trackless ride vehicle, bring some extra technology into it, right?
Sure.
You could use some screens. I don't want it to be too much screen. I would rather it be more animatronics based than screen based because there's a lot of, but nothing crazy. I'm talking like same speed of like Remy over in Epcot over there, right?
Sure.
So it's like that type of, and you go through like classic scenes of the movie, and then
Okay.
where you get dumped out, you walk down an alleyway, and you're in Diagon Alley. So that's your introductory to Harry Potter, and you end up in the world of Harry Potter,
Okay.
right? So like that's what I'm thinking. So inside the ride, you could go start right off from like when he gets the letter with all the owls and the, you know what I mean, and then go into
Mhm.
each scene. You could put in some like other scenes. Like I had to look up Harry Potter. Like this is why it's like probably I should have probably told Laura to get on the on this because she could probably the
Mhm.
universe should call her and tell her like, hey, you need to help us out with this Harry Potter ride. Like, what should we put in here? But like for me, I would love to see like you could go through the whole chess match down in like whatever, like like
Yeah.
when they have, yeah, like it would be very, and you could be one of the chess pieces, right? Like they can move
Ooh.
you around, right? Like so it'd be kind of cool. Like
Okay.
so I don't know. So that's my idea. And that would expand Diagon Alley like massively, add a whole new attraction for Harry Potter,
Mhm.
and it's another way to get into the land. So
That's a pretty good idea. It also does help with like the congestion in that area if we have a third place to get into Diagon Alley.
yeah, yeah. So Diagon Alley, I don't love that King's Cross, like Hogwarts Express, is like you have to leave the land and then get back in. Like I
Yeah.
don't love it, like to be honest. And I thought it was a little weird when I went, when I first went, um, and also getting into that land. Like it's, I understand the concept of it. It's like this secret little area that you go through a
Mhm.
wall and you're there. Like I get that. I understand, and they did it really well. But it's massively packed too. So it's
Yeah.
like it's very tight. So
Yeah.
yeah, and it would be nice, just like it would be cool getting out in a completely different area of the park, right? Not like where
Definitely.
it's just a cool concept. Like you don't see
Mhm.
that all that often. Now,
Yeah.
side note, I think that Disney. I know we don't, we don't talk about Disney too much, but Disney should have tied Star Tours into Galaxy's Edge when they made Galaxy's Edge, because I don't understand why you have Star Tours over there, right? You could be leaving our planet, getting onto Star Tours, and traveling to Galaxy's Edge. What do we do? Like, build an underground tunnel. You have to walk a mile anyway to get off Millennium Falcon, right? Like, half the
Oh my
time,
god.
right?
Yeah.
What's the difference? What's the difference? I don't understand it. Or even give the person an option, like this way to Galaxy's Edge, and you can walk down a hallway. You know what I mean? Like a tunnel, and then you just pop right out. But that's for a Disney podcast that I don't have. So
We'll bring
yeah,
it up to the Be Our Guest podcast.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. I just never understood that. I never understood it.
Yeah.
It'd be a cool way to get Harry Potter fans and non-Harry Potter fans, because like honestly, you like people. Some people don't know. Like they don't know Harry Potter. They just know it's a cool land, like me. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, and it would be nice to just see some of the cool like um scenes of the movie, like get familiar with it, and have a nice ride that every single person can get on,
Mhm.
because that's, I think, and that's a direction that Universal I think wants to go in with like DreamWorks Land coming on. Like they
Yeah.
want more younger crowd, But the problem is like a lot of the rides are either screen based with 3D glasses. They're a little high intensity. Um, Even Men in Black is it's not it's still like a slightly scary to a younger child. You have that one part of Men in Black where like the strobe lights going, you're spinning in circles. I love it, but like you could see where a little kid could be like, "Whoa, like this is crazy."
Yeah, it's a little intense for sure.
know? So it would be nice to have that. Like you have ET, and obviously we hope that never goes away, right? Like
It
so,
will never go away. If they want to continue to have any kind of relationship with Steven Spielberg, it
you're
will
right.
never go away.
You're right. Yeah, we did a whole show on that. So like, yeah, you're right about that. But it would be nice to have another dark ride that like kids could go on
Yeah.
outside of that area. Like you have ET and DreamWorks Land like side by side, and then you go see some like animals do some cool tricks, and like then you're done. Like like
Those could do cool tricks.
you know what I'm saying? Like so
Yeah.
it would be nice to have that. So that's my studios thing, and we get rid of Supercharged, which
And
should
it goes
be
away
tomorrow
forever.
forever, forever.
Forever.
Erase from all parks except for the new roller coaster in Hollywood. Like
Yeah.
I'm all on board with that. The
Yeah,
Hollywood,
that's fine.
I am so ready for that one. But
Yeah.
this whole screen based like party bus thing, people have been listening to us for a while, I guess now, and I hope they agree with us. Or
Do you
else,
think
I
they're
guess
tired of us talking about Supercharged like
I
every
hope not,
episode?
because I will talk about it every episode if I have to. Just to get rid of it.
Yeah, if it means that we are helpful in getting it taken away,
Yeah, like
I'm all for it.
it was such Supercharged was meant to be this huge attraction. They took a massive show building and put a bus
Yeah.
and a screen tunnel in it, and like, it, oh, and the queue is gigantic too. Like I get the cars, but like, and then that pre-show. Oh my god, I can't. That guy,
The
I feel
only
bad.
time Supercharge is useful is when it's used as a queue line for HHN.
Yeah, you're right. You said that. You said that multiple times, and it's like that. That queue, that live actor in the queue, like in the pre-show, I feel bad for him every time. Like
Me
that
too.
just well, the one time I went, I'm never going on that ride again. I went on it one time, and that's it.
I've gone on it twice.
That's one too many.
Twice. It's too many.
Yeah, true. Well, you have to suffer at least once, right? Like you have to actually see how bad this ride is.
Quick Supercharged story. I had a friend who is like a massive Fast and Furious fan, and I was like, listen, I know how excited you are to get on this ride. Please don't get on this ride. Don't do it. And he was like, why not? And I was like, please, I'm saving you. Understand, I'm saving you. Please don't get on this ride. So naturally, he went on the ride, and he comes back from his trip, and he's like, Taylor, I think that's the last time I don't listen to you. And I was like, you got on Supercharged? And he was like, mm-hmm. Ended my day with it because I was so excited all day. And I was like, you could have sat on the bench and it would have been a more enjoyable time.
Really would have. It really would have. It's terrible. It's a terrible, terrible
So
ride.
bad.
I saw a TikTok on that as well. Um, a guy was so excited. Oh, it's Fast and Furious, massive Fast and Furious fan, and the disappointment on his face was so. It
I can't
started right
imagine.
when he got on the bus, and he's like, "What? Like, where are we going? Like, what are we doing here?" And
I
it was
can't imagine.
it was the funniest thing ever. I love it. I love
Oh
watching
my
those
god.
disappointment videos. But yeah, let's get rid of that. Put a Harry Potter dark ride in there. You end up in Diagon Alley, and it's a win for everybody. So
Yeah.
all right. So let's get on to Epic.
Okay.
This could be this. I'm excited to have. We haven't discussed these prior to. Let's let them
No,
know that.
this is the first time we're talking about this.
So,
Okay. So my epic one is big. Like really big. I think we've touched on this before. But okay. I'm just gonna walk you through. Okay, so you walk in, you're in Celestial Park, you're like, oh my god, Super Nintendo Land was great. I don't really feel like going to Dark Universe yet. All of the wait lines are super long. You're like, but I did hear about this other land. And you look down on the ground and you see yellow bricks.
I like it.
And you're like, oh, okay. So you go down the yellow brick road and
I love it.
you're walking. You see nothing but this big giant green portal with the Emerald City skyline like sitting on top of the portal. And you're like, oh my god, I'm going to the Emerald City. That's crazy. Now, you get into the land. Obviously, we're going to have to touch on Wicked a little bit. But my idea is not for Wicked, it's for the Wizard of Oz.
Oh, okay.
So, we get like, I don't know, maybe a dark ride. They call it Defying Gravity or something. You go on and you get to like pretend you're on a broom or something.
And
Done. Easy.
everybody is going to be singing that song. Like
Yeah.
everybody on the ride.
Yeah.
Like
Everybody's going to be singing. It's a sing along. You know
yeah.
you have to go in there once, but you're like dreading it a little bit because you're like, God, I really don't want to sit through the sing along again. Um, but you go on, it's great, you know, and everybody has a great time. And then in like the dead center of this land, you have a poppy field. So you see all of the poppies. And then like you walk a little bit further in, right? And you're in the Emerald City. And then you can do something like you have something similar to like the Bippity Boppity Boutique at Disney, but you have that in the Emerald City, like they did in the Wizard of Oz. So you have that shop done. Super cool experience. The kids get to go in, get to look like an Ozian.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Okay. Then you get like your meet and greets, right? So you get to meet the wizard. Great. Awesome. You get to meet the cast. Sometimes Elphaba and Glinda will be there, but that's not really a given. They're there sometimes, but not always. Dorothy's always there. Toto's always there. The Cowardly Lion, the Tin Man, Scarecrow. They're all there. They're always there. They kind of come out like the Mystery Gang. And you're like, oh,
Great. Yeah, I like that.
hey,
Yeah, yeah, just wander, yeah, wander in. Yeah.
they're just walking around. They're just walking around. We have a stage show, and it's the Munchkinland stage show where they get to sing the Ding Dong the Witch is Dead song on stage. That's also a sing along, and that's like you gotta go at least once.
Yeah, at
You
least
gotta
once, yeah.
sing. You
Agreed.
gotta sing the Wicked Witch song with the Munchkins at least once in your life. Everybody goes. Everybody's really excited about it. Done. Then you get to the main attraction of this entire land, and it is inside the Emerald City. It's inside the big castle thing in the Emerald City. The big City Hall building, I think is what it's
Okay.
called.
All right.
It's inside there. Kind of like the Hogwarts castle.
Uh-huh.
Um but it's like you walk through the doors of this giant building. That's part of the queue line. You go in and it's gonna look a lot like it's gonna be as like state of the art techie as like the Ministry of Magic is, where it doesn't look real, but it's real and you're standing there and it's amazing. It's very green in there. Everything is very green. It's a little nauseating. I understand. But then we're getting like the Wicked soundtrack in there because you get like the instrumental for One Short Day in the Emerald City, like through the queue line. You're walking through and you're like, what is this ride gonna be? It's an indoor roller coaster
That's great.
through
I
the
love it.
Emerald City.
I love it.
And
I
you get
love
to
it.
visit like maybe, and here's another thing. It could be that you start in like the black and white version of Kansas, you get swept up in a tornado, you end up in Oz. And the finale of the ride is you meeting Glinda.
That's great. That's a good idea. I love it. I love that idea. I love the transition. I love the black and white because you could. That would be the coolest theme ever. Yeah, that sounds so cool. I love it. That's a good idea. Nice. Yeah,
I
I think
listen, I love Wicked. I love
so.
Wicked so much, and I know that it's massive. I know that it's massive, but The Wizard of Oz is incredible, and people don't talk about The Wizard of Oz that much
No.
anymore because of all of the weird licensing issues that everybody always faces all of the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but like, I think that it would be super cool to at least attempt to do it in some kind of continuity. And if you don't want to include Wicked in there, you can start the land in black and white. And then as you go further and further into the land before you get to the big castle, it gets more and more colorful. You're walking more and more down the yellow brick road. So you're seeing, various things. And like with Dark Universe and their street ambiance and everything that they've got going on, like they could do a similar thing in the Wizard of Oz. As far as like shops and stuff go, obviously you have the giant gift shop. Everybody goes there. And then you've got a confectionery, and the confectionery is like massive. And they're all like fun treats. So you've got like the lollipops for the Lollipop Guild, and you've got like Toto's dog treats or something.
Green elixir. There's got to be
Green elixir.
Right? Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah.
Something.
I love it.
Something.
Yeah. No, that sounds great. And you know what? I think everybody knows that there's a Wicked expansion coming at some point in one of these parks, and it does make more sense in Epic than any other of the parks, I feel. Mm-hmm. It just seems like it would be because of how they set up Epic, where each land is completely separate from the other. Nothing like blends into each other. It's like go in a portal, you're in here. Go back to Celestial Park, and then go into another portal, you're in a whole new land. Like, and that's how they're promoting it. That's how they're building it, and I think that's how the expansions are going to be. So like that would be perfect. And like you said, if you just see like the yellow brick road appear in front of you, and like you push that portal back a ways, like off.
Well, and so that's what I'm thinking, right? Because you've got your main ones that are kind of like the center. And then any expansion, right, is going to have to go like, if you've got two lands here, then you've got to go a little bit further back, and then you put the next portal.
Yep. Yeah. It would work so well. It would work.
Because they can't go side by side. Then you've got too much clutter.
Yeah, you got to go like back. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You got to go kind of more like expand outward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. So yeah, so that's our blue sky ideas. Like, I think, I would go on all of them. To be honest with you, I'd go on all of them. And I love the indoor roller coaster idea. I think that would be amazing. And, and if you're listening to this, I'd love to hear anybody's ideas. Like,
please.
You could email us at universallyepicpodcast@gmail.com. Just let us know. We'll mention it on the show. I think it would be amazing.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it next episode if somebody emails us. That would be amazing. So I guess we'll wrap this one up now. All right. And so I want everybody to like, follow, and subscribe to Universally Epic Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Please leave us a rating and review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Also join the Universally Epic Podcast community group on Facebook. This episode has been brought to you by the Magic Bus Travel. If you have any Universal Orlando trip planning questions or are looking to book your next trip, email us at universallyepicpodcast@gmail.com. Like always, have an epic week, everybody.